Welcome to Short Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here with you for a tag video.
Tag video. This is a popular one.
Yeah,
which is something we don't normally do because that makes sense. This is the New York Times.
By the book tag.
By the book tag.
We were not technically tagged by Monse, but Monse left a link to our channel in the description below the video that she did for the New York Times by the book tag. And she said whoever wants to do it, do it. And it's popular. We haven't done it, so
We're doing it.
we're going to go ahead and do it.
It's easy as that.
We're going to go ahead.
All right. So questions. Question one.
Question one. What book is currently on your nightstand?
Actually, I have a copy. It's your copy, actually, because I bought it for you. But I recently was cracking through it and just kind of reading a little bit. It's The Man Who Fell in Love with the Moon by Tom Spanbauer.
Okay.
It's right next to my bed right now.
Mine is Free Will by Sam Harris. I cracked that fucker open a month ago, and the reading from for the channel has just overwhelmed me in the meantime.
I understand completely.
Number two, what's the last truly great book you've read?
We did a video on this one just a week ago. Ernest Hemingway. Easy as that.
Was that the first time you've read that book?
That was.
Okay. I went with the same route.
Yeah.
The last time I first read a truly great book, for me it was Of Mice and Men.
Oh,
because
yes.
I've already read Old Man and the Sea.
The Old Man and the Sea, that's what I read. I realized, like, while you were talking, like, I didn't say the title, I just said Hemingway. The Old Man and the Sea.
But yeah, so Of Mice and Men I thought was just a drop-dead gorgeous book.
It was good. It was very good.
Well done from the first page to the end, which is just heart-wrenching.
Just to throw this out here, another book that I haven't read, but I think we have to look into, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay.
Have you not read it?
I have not.
Oh, I think we need to.
Same vein? Okay, we'll get there.
Okay, moving on.
3. If you could meet any author, who would it be, and what would you ask them?
I would meet Kurt Vonnegut. We would not speak. We would sit in his garden beneath the big purple flowers, chain smoke, and just know each other exist.
I'd ask Ernest Hemingway what beer he was going to buy me. And that would probably be the end of the conversation. Now, it's ironic that we both want to meet probably our favorite authors.
I'd say so, yes.
And just sit with them in silence.
Yeah. You just be in their presence.
Just not stay in the silence. Sit with them in silence.
I just want to go up to Vonnegut and be like, hey, can I bum a Pall Mall? And then just have him stare at me while I smoked it.
Kurt Vonnegut, by the way, since we're on the YouTube machine, invaluable to YouTube.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. YouTube Vonnegut, watch him and tell me that's not a guy you want to meet.
Absolutely. Moving on.
Number 4. What books might we be surprised to see on your bookshelves?
My bookshelf is a complete cluster of everything. I have books that I had to read in college, which would include the Twilight series is up there. I've got some young adult literature, which I think a lot of people are like, oh, they don't read young adult, but it's there. The Significant Other also utilizes the same bookshelf. So there are like really bad series romance books in there. And every time people come over, they will completely glaze over all the classics of literature, all the books on writing, all the books on literature, and they'll be like, oh, why do you have Debbie Macomber? Is that her name? Macomber? Why do you have this Nora Roberts book on here? I'm like, it's not mine. I swear, I'm not reading Nora Roberts in my free time.
Who are you trying to lie to?
I don't know myself, I think. Anyway.
This is in front of the internet. I've made no secret of the fact that I am not religious.
Yeah.
I am an atheist. I have tons of Bibles.
Yeah.
I have a Torah. I have a Quran.
Religious text.
I have Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller and Stuff White People Like by Christian Lander. Those might surprise people. Number 5. How do you organize your personal library?
I don't. I worked in a bookstore for 4+ years throughout college. I would have reoccurring nightmares, that I'm just going to call them nightmares, where I just organize books. You would literally dream all night about alphabetizing books, and then wake up and realize, oh, I have to go alphabetize books. No, I buy a book and I put it on the shelf. It doesn't matter. It's all the same.
Yeah, the terrible part for me is that I've got just this mess of books, and I have, for some things, like a photographic memory.
Yes.
And you will catch me doing this. I will turn right here for a book that was sitting there for a month and a half. Hasn't been in a year.
Yeah.
But that's where I remember it.
There are books everywhere. I mean, there's a half wall here where there are stacks of books. There's a table with stacks of books. Your desk has stacks of books.
The ground beside my
The ground has stacks of books. There's a lot of books in here.
Lots of books.
That's okay. That's a good thing.
Maybe.
Next question.
Number 6. What's a book you've always meant to read but never have? Or are embarrassed that you've never read?
There's a lot that you could put into this one. We just mentioned One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's one that I've always, it's been back there as, a great book that I should read, but I've never actually read it. And I just happened to see it the other day, and I picked it up, and I'm like, why haven't I read this? This is like top 10 books you should have read.
Yeah.
So that's my plug.
I am embarrassed to say I've never read to completion any James Joyce. I was supposed, here's my story with The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. I labored through community college, right? It took me about 5 years to get a 2-year degree.
Yes.
Because I was working, I had to quit several semesters just to work, working several jobs at the same time. Anyone who's ever been in the community college atmosphere understands that basically it's grades by completion.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of places anyway. I'm not sure what it's like other places, but in the Northland of Kansas City, in the greater Kansas City area, that's how it is. I've talked to people who've gone to all of these community colleges around here. So I get to the university setting. Move away, it's just 50 miles north, but you're still moving away.
Yeah.
Got no job up there, got no friends up there, no one up there. To the university setting of St. Joseph, Missouri, and my very first literature class. Sure, we read The Great Gatsby, which basically goes over your head until the college setting anyway.
Yeah.
We read As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. We read The Trench Poets. Just massive works. And then, but the very first thing that we read was Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. And you said you have nightmares of sorting books. I have nightmares where I'm reading Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, because I labored all this time to finally go away to the university setting, because I valued education my entire life. I could have graduated at semester my senior year of high school. Wanted the free education.
Yeah.
Took 7 courses the second semester of my senior year. That's how much I value education, and free education at that, right? At that point. And I crack open this book thinking, I've worked so hard to get here, and I can't understand a goddamn thing.
Was that Benzel?
Yes.
Did that to you? Benzel, you monster, if you ever find this. Ulysses has always been on my TBR.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones I'm like, I ain't ready to read that.
No.
I ain't got the chops
It's
yet.
terrifying.
But I mean, hey.
Ulysses is so scary they made a joke about it in Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on, please. Get away from James.
7. Books you thought you love, but you hated.
I've talked about this story a few times now. I sat down to read The Hunger Games. Realized it was a young adult, didn't have a lot of expectations for it, and I really enjoyed it. Until it got to the end, and I thought it was the biggest cop-out, and that's what maybe killed young adult literature for me. I hated it. I threw it. I'm like, I'm done. This is terrible. I thought I loved it, and then it broke my heart.
I'm going to go with something very current for us, but a classic in general, On the Road.
Yeah.
We are laboring through On the Road, and it is torturous.
And it's listed as like the top 100 novels of all time.
It's just torturous.
It's hard to read. It's painful.
It is the book that never ends, and it doesn't have a story, and it doesn't. The On the Road is the drunk man at the bar that wants to tell you everything.
hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll sit down and we'll talk some Jack Kerouac's on the road. But we pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off because we can't get through it.
What stories are you drawn into? Which do you stay away from?
I think that's a very difficult question. Because one thing I've said many times on this channel is you have to read everything. You have to be open to everything. I think, personally, I am drawn to more of what I consider to be a classic of literature. Again, that's that ideal of wanting to read James Joyce. That's wanting to talk Hemingway, wanting to talk Fitzgerald. I'm drawn away from young adult literature. That's a very clear trope of this channel. It's not something we enjoy. We will talk on now and then when we think it has literary merit and it's important to the world of literature, but it's something that I can't get into, and a lot of people really enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm drawn into stories that make me genuinely question values, morals, or beliefs.
Okay.
Or make me question what I would do in a certain situation.
Bret Easton Ellis.
Right. These things tend to be darker texts.
Yeah.
I stay away from anything happy. If I've heard it's happy or has a happy ending, I'm pretty much done.
I don't want it.
The Martian was garbage.
Oh.
9. If you could require the president to read one book, what would it be?
That's a difficult one.
It's hard.
That really is, in jest, I would like to say the Communist Manifesto.
Right.
Because why not? But honestly, think of the presidents we have. Think of the men who go into office when they go in and they come out.
Oh, yeah.
They look like hell.
Yeah.
So really, I just want to sit him down and let him read whatever the hell he wants. I'd be like, Barack, here's a nice quiet room. Here's some beer. Just pick a book off the shelf.
A cigar, some
Scotch. I'm not going to tell anybody. You want to read The Hunger Games? Go read it, man. Just have fun.
If the president is eager to read a story about children offing each other, maybe it's time for him to go.
And a dictatorship-like government that oppresses all the people and forces them to kill each other for entertainment?
I changed this question a little bit for myself because that's what we do here. I would have if I could have required reading for all presidents going into office, it would be back-to-back Fight Club and Slaughterhouse-5.
Oh my.
The suffering that happens in those novels changes people, and the outcome are two completely different people.
It is.
Right? I think the contrast there between what those protagonists have gone through and where they end up is I won't say necessary, but I think it adds something to your perspective of the human experience.
Okay. And those are great reads. They are. That's a worthy. I give you that one.
Okay.
Final question time.
10. What are you reading next?
I don't know. Whatever we got planned for next week.
Extracurricular to the channel. What will you be reading next?
Extracurricular to the channel. What would I like to read next?
What would you like to read next? Hypothetically, theoretically, empathetically.
Now, we've talked about this a lot on the channel, and this is something it really just dawned on me that I wouldn't mind reading, and that is Waking Up by Sam Harris.
Everyone should read Waking Up by Sam Harris.
I mean, I think it's got a lot of good things. You've talked it up pretty big. I think it'd be an all right read.
If I can get around to it soon, I would like to make a writing tips and strategies from Waking Up by Sam Harris, because I think that the principles in that book and a lot of the stuff that he just talks about in that book, you can take and apply to whatever your passion is.
Fair enough.
All around.
I think it's a 2 read. TBR.
I would read Undeniable by Bill Nye.
Yeah?
I really enjoy supporting in today's anti-intellectual climate, there is a strong reverse reaction among some people, and there is an uprising of scientific personas. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Richard Dawkins is growing in popularity. Bill Nye is coming back, right?
Yeah.
He's
been gone for a while.
He was big when I was a kid, right? So for Bill Nye to be coming back like this, I think you have to support it. It's a book that I want to read anyway. I have looked at some of the questions addressed therein, and there are things that I'm not 100% grasping. So for me, that's going to be a big read once I finish Free Will by Sam Harris.
So a tag video is not a tag video unless you tag people in.
Yeah.
So we've got a few. And from Book Your Imagination. Now, we just met Anne recently. That's great. We'd really like to know more about you, Anne, what you're reading, what you'd suggest. So we're going to tag you in this one.
Absolutely.
I also have Cherry Walker. Now, I think her channel's called Books and Beauty. That's what the lovely little banner says. But Cherry Walker, that is her username on the YouTube machine. Same situation. We haven't really interacted much. We'd really like to hear more about you, so maybe give this one a go.
Now, Anne from Book Your Imagination actually found us through Steve Donahue.
Yes.
And I would like to tag Steve Donahue because I am really interested in other things that guy has to say. If you haven't checked out his channel, go over there. He is becoming the John Oliver / John Stewart of BookTube.
Oh yeah, Steve.
Also, Helen from Capricious Helen, another YouTuber that we have not really interacted with, but I'd like to get your thoughts on this. And finally, Paige from Pages and Pages. We've interacted with Paige since inception, I believe.
Pretty early on, yes.
Oh yeah, and I don't think she's done this tag, but it's such a big one that we're so late to the game on because we're us and this is what we do.
And I'd really like to see what Paige would have to say when she sat down with Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Sit down with old Kurt.
Anyway, if you like this, if you like us ruining other people's tags, hit that subscribe button. Let us know in your comments down below what you think.
Hit the like button. It's the only way we know you love us. We're pretty.